y'all, it's me, Barb Hardly, here with another video about This Is the Army. If you missed the first two videos about This Is the Army, here's what you need to know. It was a World War II all-soldier review show put on by Irving Berlin, starring a whole bunch of gay soldiers who actually did drag to raise money for the war effort, and then they toured around the world and did the show for soldiers on the front lines. It's kind of crazy how 80 years ago the government was like, drag is good for morale. What happened, Republicans? Now I'm gonna stop talking like Barb and start talking like me. My name is Brett White and I'm a pop culture journalist, and 3 years ago I decided to write a biography of Hayden Rorke, who you might know as Dr. Bellows from Dream of Jeannie, but before that, he was in This Is the Army with his partner, Justus Addiss. I learned that the Addiss family has over 100 photographs from This Is the Army that have never been seen before, featuring homosexual soldiers touring all over the world. And now I'm gonna show off some to you. It's June 1944. Rome just fell to the Allied troops 6 days earlier. This Is the Army is there to start putting on a show. Here's a photo of a bunch of the soldiers on their way to St. Peter's Basilica for church. The caption on the back says, "It cost us a stick of chewing gum for this pose." This photo is important because on June 18th, Irving Berlin had an audience with Pope Pius XII. Pius the 12th, right? Yeah. All the soldiers did as well. Hayden Rorke's younger brother, Ed Rorke, was in the Baton Death March, which is as harrowing and horrible as it sounds. Hayden spent the entire world tour asking everyone that he saw, "Have you seen Ed Rorke? Do you know an Ed Rorke? Where is Ed Rorke?" When Hayden got face to face with the Pope, he was like, "Hey Pope, kiss the ring. Where is my brother Ed Rorke? Could you please pray for him?" Pope Pius XII reportedly said that Ed was okay. The next photo is of an antiquated defense weapon on the roof of the Castle of St. Angelo. On the photo is Bill, which is what they called Hayden because his birth name was William, who was an actor and stage manager in the show. Then we have Alan Anderson, who was the stage manager, Frank Scadden, who was a singer, Marcus Daniels, who was an officer, and Carl Fisher, who was a business manager. I do believe that Hayden is the only gay in this photo. Next up is a photo from the trip from Rome to Foggia. In Foggia, they were going to be performing for the Air Force, so they were like, hey, if any soldiers want to ride, hop on. Hayden was one of them, and he got to play tail gunner for a hot second. Justus Addiss actually wrote about this in a letter to his dad. He wrote, "One of the highlights of our time with the Air Force occurred during the few minutes we stood waiting on the field in Rome. 7 flying fortresses came over in formation, streaking across the sky, peeled off one at a time, and landed almost at our feet. A beautiful sight. And then we boarded our air transports and took off within minutes. Flew into Foggia in formation, landed, and stepped down on the ground feeling like guests of honor. We discovered that's the way the Air Corps does things." After Foggia, all the soldiers took a convoy to Bari, Italy? The convoy was 80 miles and it took a whole day to get there. The caption on this photo is, "Truck convoy from Foggia to Bari, Italy, timeout to fill canteens. Art on truck, Joe Bush next to Bill Rorke." Joe Bush was an actor and stage manager. Now, Art is Art Gilmore, who was an actor friend of Hayden and Jus from before the war. They all ended up in This Is the Army. Art is one of the soldiers that did drag for Uncle Sam. He was a homosexual. We love Art Gilmore. Also, he was Canadian. So this next photo is at the camp in Bari. You see Julie Oceans, who is one of the comedians in the show. Mr. Berlin, who is Irving Berlin. Yep, he was right there with them, touring the world for most of it. Well, for part of it. Well, for a little bit of it. The Italy part of it. The caption says, "Checking the grosses." Jus's dad, Ed, would actually send them varieties just so they could keep up with what was going on at the box office. August 1944, they all went to Cairo. This photo features the 3 musketeers, Hayden Rorke, Justus Addiss, and Art Gilmore, all posing in front of the Sphinx. Gays in the desert, posing with the Sphinx, the original diva. That's stupid. I shouldn't say that. So they all had camels and guides for the morning that would take them on tours around the pyramids and stuff. And there was this running joke in all the captions that Hayden wrote on the back of the photos about the camel laughing and not laughing at specific people intentionally. The caption on this one was, "The camel laughed every time I got on. I wonder why." So while they were in Egypt, a lot of them got furloughed so they could take a little break, and they went to the Holy Lands. Here's Hayden, singer William McCutcheon, and dancer Cass Yeager, who I know was a homosexual. I don't know about McCutcheon yet. I'm trying to find out. They're at the Gardens of the King David Hotel. And then the next photo is all of them walking in Jerusalem with the caption saying, "Our group walking along the way of the cross." So from what I can gather, all of the gay soldiers stuck together for the most part when they would go out and about. So my assumption a lot of the time is if they're in a photo with Hayden and Jus, probably gay. I'm doing the research though. So now we're in October 1944 and we have 2 of my my favorite photos of all. So now they're like in like the Middle East around Iran. This one is in Awaz and it says, "Our gang struggling for water." And it was taken only a few feet from the barracks door. And so this is a big group shot of all of them. And like, if you want photographic proof that Hayden Rorke and Justus Addiss were a couple, after they take this group photo, what do? Boom. They take a photo of just the two of them struggling to reach the last drop of water. My gay heart. My gay heart. Oh. Next is a shot of Hayden and Hamandao. Bill sitting on a production crate with assorted Tita equipment. And then the next one is from Kazvin, and this is what the stage looked like. The caption is, "Bill on stage, outdoor theater, view of stage from projection booth." They have projection booths. They traveled with the gear. They really worked the world. This is what I pride myself in, is being able to make modern jokes about yesterday's stuff. Am I pretty? I'm pretty. November 1944, we're now in Bombay at the races. The caption reads, "Grandstand Bombay Races." And in the photo are Jus, Bert Whitley, who was an actor and makeup handler, so Bill and Art. Now obviously, like, being a makeup handler doesn't make you gay, but like, I'm gonna find out. This is the service that I provide as a journalist, a drag queen, and a homosexual man. Now we're in May 1945. We're at the Hotel Manila, at the pool, which, as the caption explains, Jus and Bill on the edge of the beautiful swimming pool of the Manila Hotel, the only part left intact, which is left intact after the Japanese troops that were occupying it tried to like just burn it down on their way out. The last photo that I have for y'all in Manila is Jus and Bill Amidst the Ruins, which is like a good album title, right? And then lastly, I have to leave y'all with one of my favorite photos. There aren't that many photos of Justus Addiss on the internet, Hayden's partner. If you search for him, you will see pictures of a lot of people who aren't him, including like a young Jack Nicholson. Here's a photo of 28-year-old Justus Addiss, June 1944, Philippines, Jus, at sea. This is a small sampling of what is contained in these photographs, and like I said, I haven't even shown you my favorite ones because I have to keep something for the book. That's about all the time that I have right now. I'm so glad that y'all tuned in and saw all these photos from This Is the Army, the very first time that any of them have ever been seen by the public at large. If you want more information about Hayden Rorke or Justus Addiss, go to haydenrorke.com or follow my boy account on Instagram at Brett White, or just keep following this TikTok account because this is what I'm doing now. Y'all like it, I'm doing it. A girl's gotta have a niche. If you haven't already, go to aclu.org/dragdefense and help us make sure that drag is just as legal today as it was 80 years ago. I always love chatting with y'all. Please chat with me. Let me know what you think and what you want to hear about. And as I always say, am I a woman? Hardly.